Hi y'all, and welcome back to the Oklahoma Girls Kitchen. It's been so long since I've been with y'all and shared some good recipes, and I thought today is the day. So I've got someone doing my filming for me. That's a thumbs up. I don't have to worry about that. And we are gonna have a good red velvet cookie cake recipe. It's gonna be in a cast iron skillet. And are y'all in for a treat? So we're gonna go ahead and get started on it now. Follow me. I'm going to give you the directions as I go and the amounts of everything. So be sure to write them down. So let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the butter, which I've already melted in the microwave. And this is 6 tablespoons of butter. And to that, we're going to do a 1/2 cup of sugar, just granulated sugar. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I always kind of pack this down in whatever you're going to measure it in, because we definitely want to make sure it's a 1/4 cup. So just like that. We're going to go ahead and put that in there. You know, if you all have trouble with your brown sugar getting hard, like leaving it in your sack, the way to take care of that is just pop the whole sack in the microwave when you get ready to use it, and it just moistens it right back up. Just for, you know, a couple of seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, and it'll make it warm and easy to use again. Don't throw it away. So let's go ahead and add to that our egg, 1 large egg. And then we are going to add our vanilla. And that is going to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Don't you just love vanilla? Oh, there's nothing any better than vanilla. So this is just a 1/2 right there. So I'm going to do 2 of these. And then we're going to go ahead and beat this just with a hand mixer until it's light and fluffy. Then we're going to add the other good stuff. So what have you guys been up to today? Y'all probably been up and out and about and doing laundry and taking care of kids or pets or your Friday shopping. Just about what all of us do. But that's part of life. Or helping a neighbor, or, you know, just whatever is good for Friday. And so we're going to go ahead and add to this now our flour. This is just all-purpose flour that I'm going to be adding, and it's going to be 1 cup of all-purpose. Now, you know, anytime you use all-purpose flour rather than self-rising flour, it usually calls for baking soda and salt. So that's what we're going to add next. So we have got our flour in, and we are going to add our baking powder, which is going to be a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to wipe this out real quick. If you use self-rising flour, that's already in your self-rising flour, so you don't have to add those things. But most of your baking recipes call for plain flour. So that's a 1/2 teaspoon of our baking powder. And then we're going to add also our cocoa powder, which is going to be 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. And you know, this stuff smells so good, but I'm telling you, it is very, very bitter. So anytime you put this in your mouth thinking it's going to be sweet, it's not. You're in for a real surprise. So that's going to be 4 of these, because I'm using just a 1/2 teaspoon here. So that's 1. And 1, 2. And I remember my mother buying these when I was little, and these were in tin cans. And they were, you know, metal. And I remember her making all of her homemade fudge and her pies and stuff, her icings for her plain cakes for Christmas. This stuff has been around for a long time, and you couldn't bake without it if it calls for chocolate. Good chocolate, except for the chocolate bars, but this is my go-to, I guess because I'm so familiar with it. So we've got our cocoa powder in, our flour, our baking powder, and now we are ready to go ahead and combine this together. Now I don't know if you guys use a cast iron skillet, if you have very much or not, but you know, I think everybody should have a set of them. That's what I grew up. My mama used cast iron for everything. You know, they didn't have the good pots and pans like they have today, the no stick and all that. We were raised learning to use cast iron, and not just learning to use it, but how to take care of it once you did use it. Because that's what's important, is taking good care of your skillets. And I promise you, if you will take good care of those skillets, they will last you a whole lifetime. You will never wear them out. So we've got all of that combined. We need to put just a little bit of salt in it, not much. Let me get something to open it. Sometimes those things get down in there really deep. So this is going to be, let's see, half a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to mix this in. We're almost there. If you like red velvet, you're going to love this. And I am a red velvet girl. Okay, there's something about cool days and just baking. You know, I love to bake anytime. I love to bake and I love to cook both. But it's like on cool days, you just want to do baking. I don't know why, it just calls for it. So now we have got to do our red food coloring, and that is going to be, let me look here just a second. 1 tablespoon. To me that sounds like a lot, 1 tablespoon, but when I look at the amount of dough that we're gonna have, or batter that we're gonna have, that's quite a bit. So, you know, that's probably about right. But we're gonna go ahead and squirt it out. And we're gonna get that in there. You wanna keep those food colorings around because, you know, even though it would have probably been a pretty color just the way it was, it doesn't speak red velvet. Now, it's looking like red velvet. Food colorings are fun to play with. You can make things as light as you want or as dark as you want. And this has definitely got that look. Okay, so we've got that done. Now we've got everything in it. Our 6 tablespoons of butter, half a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of red food coloring, half a teaspoon of salt. And now we're gonna add our chocolate chips, our mini chocolate chips. And I'm putting 2 kinds in here. I'm putting the white mini chocolate chips, and I'm also putting the just a semi-sweet chocolate chips chocolate. So if you wanted to leave one or the other out, you could and just do all in one flavor. But I think the white chocolate chips is what makes this so pretty too. So, you know, you can do as many of these as you want. It calls for a half a cup of each. But if you wanted more, you could do more. I'm gonna save enough to do on top. And you don't want to blend these or mix these in with your mixer once you put them in here. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it because it will break them up and you wanna be able to see these. And you can tell already how pretty the white shows up on that red velvet. And then we're gonna put some of the semi-sweet chocolate just because we can. And we love chocolate. You can't get enough chocolate. And we're gonna put some of those on top too. Now we're just gonna fold this in. We don't want to break them up any more than we have to. And you see how thick this is. I mean, it's really thick, and it should be because it's a cookie. We want to be able to cut it like a cookie. So that's what we're aiming for. We've pretty much got it folded in. And now we're gonna get ready to put it in our skillet. And like I said, I'm gonna use a cast iron skillet. And this is my cast iron, one of my cast iron skillets. I have several, but this is one of them. And what I like about this one is it doesn't really look like it's a cast iron, but it is. It's cast iron inside and just this pretty spinach color on the outside. And you guys can find these online in all different sizes. This is probably, I would say, a 12-inch right here. So you can find them as big as you want, you know, 13 inches or 12 inches, and you can go all the way down to 9 and smaller. So I am going to put just a little bit of cooking spray in this. I honestly don't think that it would stick, but I don't want to take the chance on it either. So I am going to spray it, and then I'm going to put it over in here. And we're going to have some good eating. So what have you guys done all through the fall and the winter? You know, there's not really a whole lot that you can do. But I think we're coming out of the woods with the pandemic stuff. I think things are looking a little brighter and a little better than what they were looking. So that's a good thing. And we're ready for that to happen. I think actually I'm just gonna work this with my hands because it's gonna be a whole lot easier. Just to kind of mash it down with your hands. You want to try to spread it out, you know, as far as you can spread it because it is going to rise. And I'm going to show you this once I get it all patted down as even as I can get it. And we're going to top this when it's done. It only cooks for about 18 to 20 minutes on 350, and I already have my oven preheated. We're gonna eat this with some vanilla ice cream and some chocolate syrup on top. Boy, it doesn't get any better than that. It's making me hungry just looking at it. You know how you just want to taste test something, and I can hear my stomach actually growling. So I think it's telling me to get this done where I can have some of it. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick, and I'm gonna put those other chocolate chips on top. You know, this is so cool. Who would have ever thought, like when I was growing up, that you would do a cookie in a cast iron skillet? You know, my Mama Turner, she lived with us and raised us while Mom and Daddy worked at night. And she made all of our homemade cakes, our plain cakes, whether she iced them or not. You know, it'd just be a plain cake with peaches or, you know, some kind of fruit cocktail or whatever we might have on the side. She made all her cakes in a cast iron skillet. And they were the best. I mean, when she flipped those things over, you would have thought that it was a pound of cornbread, but it wasn't. It was a plain cake, and you could smell it when you walked in the front door of the house. I mean, it just, I was raised with good Southern cooks. We're from Alabama, and my grandmother lived with us, and my mama was a good cook, and my aunts and cousins were all good cooks. And I feel like I was so privileged because I was raised with the best Southern cooks you could ever be raised with. So let's take a look at this now. See how pretty this is? Can you see it? Wait till you taste it. You think it's pretty now and it looks just absolutely scrumptious? Wait till we pull it out. So let's get this in the oven, and then I'm gonna be back with you to finish this up. See you in just a bit. Okay, y'all, it's out of the oven and it's ready. Look at this. Isn't that just beautiful? Ooh, it just looks so good, and it smells like chocolate in here. It smells like cake. It smells like chocolate chips, and we are gonna try this. Me and my little granddaughter that's doing all of my video today. She is a red velvet girl. Loves red velvet. But I mean, most do, right? So, let's see if we can get this out. Might have to have a spoon to get it out. You know how that first piece is always hard, and y'all gotta remember now, we're taking this out while it's still really hot. I didn't let it cool like you probably would normally. So, you'll have to kind of remember that this still is extremely hot. But we're doing a fast show, so we gotta do this. And this is the second one, because as it sets, it's gonna firm up a lot. So, on top of this, we're gonna do our vanilla ice cream. This is calling my name. Calling my name. You know, you guys need to do something like this for a friend or a neighbor or someone like in your church that might be sick or something. Just make them something like this and take it over. You know, it's not always about what you can do to help them out around the house or anything like that. Sometimes it's just thinking about people and doing something nice for them. So I'm going to put just a little bit more chocolate syrup on top. Not that we need it because we've got some on the bottom, but it doesn't hurt. Now, let's take a look at that. Is that not just out of this world? So, y'all need to make you this or make it for somebody. I was thinking that this would just be a beautiful dessert for your sweetheart, the one that you love with all your heart, to make this for Valentine's, for any time. But it would be pretty for Valentine's. It would be great for Christmas because of the color. But you know, just this says I love you without any reason, without any holiday. It just says I love you. So you guys get out and do something fun this week. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, being together. And until I see you in the Oklahoma Girls Kitchen on my next episode, which is going to be tomorrow, I wish you a heap of love and a teaspoon of happiness. Bye, guys.